And we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of Beyond Retro. I'm Joe Amato. I'm here with Nathan Kennedy and Tyler Baker. And yeah, we got some cool things we're going to be talking about today. But randomly, just before we started, Nathan was showing me his. Do you still have that by you, that box set, that Friday
Yeah.
13th thing?
Yeah, right here. There's going to be some glare because the computer
Oh,
monitor is right in front of me, but it's the accessory set. Comes with a Crystal Lake sign, and you kind of get the
It's a setup of part three, essentially, isn't it?
yeah. Well, it's got one of those on there as well, where he shoots the harpoon gun, but then it also has at the end of part 6 where he's hooked up and in the lake.
oh, I didn't know it came with two things. Okay, then that's
Yeah.
double cool as shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, thanks for sharing that because you started talking about, you said you wanted to get some of the old Friday the 13th VHS tapes so you could display all the covers and everything from the movies and back to your figures. And you said some of them are actually high. I didn't know this. Some of those tapes
Yeah,
are.
man. Because eBay these days, anytime you want anything, especially when it comes to stuff that we enjoy, you go and you look it up. Oh man, it depends because some people, like anything else, here's a tape that's in pristine condition. Sometimes they're still like in the plastic, and then other times, oh, this tape's all beat up, the cover's ripped in half, but it's the same price because that person's like, oh, well, this is how much they're trying to sell it for. Mine is obviously worth just as much, but
God, I would have never thought that that's something that would have been insane with prices. I mean, I know there's some collector edition things, but geez, I remember when we were buying VHS and when things were being cleared out, and you get stuff super cheap. Like I have all the Friday the 13th on VHS, and I just couldn't picture that. The only one I could picture that they maybe would have want to try is Jason Goes to Hell has like two cases. One which was the real cool, like uncut director's version or whatever. It has a 3D bubble of like that mask and with the thing coming out, the thing that pops
yeah.
up out of them, and that's coming out of the mask. But it's 3D and it's raised and it's like off the case. I like that. And then they just have a regular flat one, just like all the other cases. Why'd you do that? Are you gonna have to look for it or something? Or
No, it's just it's just depressing. Like there was a lot that had, I think it had 2 through 8 in it, $70. Individual tapes range anywhere from like 12 to 20, and I'm like, I'm not paying that much. So I'm hoping with luck in other places, and hopefully Goodwills, pawn shops, I will score them for cheap. But so far, not much luck. I got a copy of Jason Lives from actually he does YouTube videos himself. Cinema Sickness. He goes and just all of his local Goodwills, whatever, and he started just finding things and selling them off. And he found the tape and posted it on his Instagram, and I messaged him, and so that's
All right.
that's on the way. One down, and
many to go.
unfortunately, yeah.
All right, no, but first let me say, well, that is cool, but let me say hello to Yanish, JSP, the Jake Juggalo, and Eric Amen all in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. And Eric Amen said, what was the name of the box set you have? Because he'd like to look it up to try to find that.
It's just a Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake accessory set.
Okay.
I think if you look for it on Amazon and you have Prime, it's on there right now for $35. I paid $30 for it at FYE yesterday. So
Okay. All right. Well, again, thanks for sharing that with him.
since it's a NECA product, August 3rd, NECA's shit's going to be in Target stores, so maybe it'll be at Target
Oh, no kidding.
here
Well,
in a
that
couple
would be
weeks.
good.
So
Hopefully, because I usually can't find anything around here. Not that I can afford it anyways, but if I'd have to, I'd have to resort to eBay, which is more expensive.
Yep.
But, well, I was going to say, before we get into our other chat, I want to bring up one more thing because there was somebody who shared a video, said, like, hey, I thought this was pretty good. You should give it a shot. I just want to say, I thank God I grew up in the 80s and 90s for cartoons when it wasn't pandering and making me feel like I had to be a complete, I guess, I don't know, moron half the time when I'm watching a cartoon, or being bling bling blah 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 and splash explosions and crap to make you excited. Like there was cartoons that sure were around for that, but then there were the cartoons that, while they might have had some funny parts, still were cool, action-packed, kick-ass, and villains that you could be afraid of. Because I watched that first episode of that new Ninja Turtles cartoon. And
oh wait, that the whole thing's out now.
yeah, the whole thing.
Oh,
I watched
God.
that. I watched that first episode. Well, it was linked. Our buddy Thomas Guerra, he shared it in one of the groups, and I said, I'm fair. I'm not going to just say it fucking sucks because it looks stupid. I wanted to watch it. Wow, talk about just pandering and explosions. I mean, not just that flash in the mouth, the nonsense, the goofiness. It was dialed up from 1 to 10. If anybody wants to say, "Oh, the old Ninja Turtles cartoon, the ones you grew up with, it was corny too," yeah, I might have had funny moments, but it didn't make me feel like I was 4 years old.
They dumbed it down.
They hammed the hell
I
out.
only watched a clip. I want to watch the whole episode now just to see how worse it gets. But holy shit! Like, ooh,
That was
that was
rough.
bad. That was
And-
bad.
And for everybody that keeps wanting to say, but that's what the kids like. It's like, no, that's what you keep giving the kids. Give them a taste of something else. You'd be surprised they might like something like how we liked. We were kids too when we grew up in the 80s and 90s, but the cartoon still felt better. I don't give a shit. I don't care what people are trying to tell me. Oh, the cartoon's better and the animation's better. That drawing, the animation was a pile of horse shit. These squared off fingers look so cheap. I'm done because I don't know if Tyler wants to talk, but I just, oh my god.
I know for a fact Tyler's not going to watch any clips, nothing. He's seen enough and cut dry. He's done. I will watch that first episode, Joe. If you can give me that link after the show, I will. I'll check it out because I watched just one clip where they're facing off. I'm assuming it's the main villain. I know John Cena does the voice. And,
Oh, is that the voice? I thought it sounded familiar. Oh god,
Yeah.
John Cena was that villain. I didn't know.
yeah.
Wow.
So that is the main villain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, in that episode, yeah.
Well, no, he's
Well,
been casted to play a major villain in the show. So
Oh, he is. Oh dear God. I mean, when
I
you
looked at the character list, and there is, I don't know if it's a pig or something, but he's a butcher. Anyone want to take a guess of what they named this character?
pig face,
Pork
I
chop.
don't know.
Meat
Pork chop.
sweats. Meat sweats.
Meat sweats. You know what
Yeah.
else?
that's not even a clever. You know, that's just that's like
yeah.
like pork
And I
chop.
tell you
like
what, if you want,
pork
if you
chop
wanna
sounds
get
so
pissed-
much more better.
even more to be pissed is just seeing how Splinter is portrayed. I was like, oh, that's the wise Master Splinter. I'm not going to even ruin it because I know Jake in the chat room said he's probably going to watch it. And Tamara Shipper, you said you're going to watch it with them as well. They're going to watch it. But, oh, talk about a horrible, horrible portrayal of Master Splinter. And this explanation.
I saw him in the little tray, and he's just like squished down, and he's fat, and
Just wait to see what he does. I mean, what he's doing. And when they were to talk with him, I was like, this is just, it's like a slap in the face, a kick in the balls, a chop in the throat. Anything that can hurt you, that's what this cartoon has did to anybody that's watching. It's like, God, it's like, I hate to think you're thinking this is what kids want. They keep wanting to say that, but I'm telling you, kids will watch other things. And if you give them something better, they'd like it. It just, it sucks that it's always this cheap, quick looking, crappy animation, this drawing that looks like, well, 5-6-year-olds could do, and then just the way they pander down and talk to kids and treat them like this is all you can understand because you don't have an imagination. You can't imagine great epic battles or anything else with little doses of humor. You have to have nonstop goofiness. That's what pisses me off more than anything. But that's just me. I'm sorry. People like it, they like it, but I just felt, God, this was horrible.
yeah, I mean, if you like it, all the power to you. But nope. Not for me. I like just based off of that what it's like a 2-minute clip that's on there. I was like, no, but I will watch that full episode. I'll
pray for you. I'll pray for you.
I
It's
do
fun.
not. Well, the plan is tonight. It kind of ties into our topic today. I didn't get to it yesterday, but I am gonna watch Rampage with The Rock, and after that, I will watch Turtles. And by that point, I should be pretty drunk, so it should be.
You better be smashed
Or
to
dead,
hell.
one or the other. Like
Yeah, with
Nathan's
Tyler
face
not
is like
saying it's-
just face deep in the nearest toilet bowl, choking on his own vomit.
Yeah, because I was gonna say with Tyler not saying anything about the cartoon, I'm assuming he probably did not watch it because I'm sure he would have exploded too. But don't bother,
no,
Tyler.
I'm not. I'm just tired of all people's bullshit of saying it's not meant for you. It's like you take your opinion and shove it up your ass, because if it weren't making, create something else that's obviously, has no major fan following for over 30 years here. Okay. You want to be silly and goofy and slapsticky, then create something else that's meant for that. Don't take something that's been kept alive. And they're doing it with She-Ra too. It's like, all right, look, enough's enough. I'm tired of being like, super polite and cool about this stuff because it's just not cool. I'm just sick of our generation being told we're not allowed to have an opinion, as if like, they're going to market this stuff for adult collectors too, because that's what they do every time a new toy line comes out. They want to make sure they get the adult collectors in there, but they say they're focusing on the kids so that if it bombs, it's just going to say, oh, well, kids just aren't into that, and neglecting the fact that, you know, we're still keeping these properties alive. I've said it before on Fans of Power, and we won't go into all that.
I kind of feel like we've been in a rotation of the last month and a half or so of just kind of repeating these same things, because it just seems like, oh, bam, here's Thundercats, bam, there's She-Ra,
keep doing it.
Here's Turtles,
That's their excuse for it. If it's met with backlash, that's their go-to. Oh, it's not meant for you. And all the apologists who like to sit there and say they want to take all these new incarnations that are just making it look like doesn't require talent or any thinking, because it's not like they did that back in the 80s and the 90s, where the guys who had no preconceived notions or no affinity for these properties, it's a job, but they are paid to do a job and to do the best job they possibly can.
But who's to say that's not the case now? You know, there's probably a bunch of these guys on these projects that are reluctant as shit to even be like attached to it, but it's their job and they're doing it anyway.
I understand that, but I still feel like, you know, it just. I'm not faulting people for doing their job, but I really felt like they were not out to, you know, look. There are cartoons that are meant for kids to laugh and carry on and enjoy, and knee slappers and hashing it up or whatever. You know, Nathan knows what I'm talking about when I say hashing it up there with the knee slapping there.
Yeah.
But I just felt like and that just goes, and I promise I will not make this long, but it just goes to show that's the popular thing, that everything's got to be funny. That you can't have cartoons that are funny. No. All the action cartoons have got to be funny. The movies have got to be funny. Like there's no room for action-oriented cartoons for kids or action movies for adults, where, you know, you just can't have a serious action movie with a dash of a humor throughout it. I mean, everything is advertised as to be funny.
Well, I think there are a few things that eke through. You know, John Wick being one of those.
Well, but that's
I know it's few and far between, but as much as it sucks,
the biggest. I mean, can you guys disagree with that? That, I mean, hell, well, another subject we'll talk about before we're getting ready to it. A couple new trailers dropped yesterday. Mm-hmm. They all want to make sure that it's a superhero movie, but just remember, it's going to be the year's biggest comedy.
What?
All right.
I avoided them all. I've seen 3 that were supposed to be talked about, and I was like, I'm avoiding 3 movies in particular. But
all right. Well, before we jump into it, Joe, what are the 3 movies that you are avoiding?
I seen that everybody's wall was loaded with Shazam, Glass or Mr. Glass, because that's continuing the Unbreakable Split, and damn it, what was the other fucking movie?
Aquaman.
Oh, that actually, I didn't know that. But if you guys
how the hell did you miss that?
Well, all right, was it Godzilla, King of the Monsters?
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, because I recognized on from the picture it showed the girl that plays Eleven from Stranger Things. I was like, what's this, Stranger Things or something? Season 3? And then it said Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So I'll tell you what, Nathan, I'll wait for you to do this. 2 thumbs up when you're done. I'm gonna take my headphones off while you guys talk.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. Tyler, I watched all 4 of those trailers. Which trailers did you watch?
Just Shazam and Aquaman. I got the first Godzilla sucked. I don't want to see the sequel. So
the sequel, I don't really understand where they're going with that.
What is a shocker?
Well, I know I didn't look at the synopsis, but just based off of the trailer, it's like, all right, well, our world's kind of in shambles, and the only way to save it is to resurrect all these titans, all the other monsters, and I'm just like, what? Oh, all right, I guess. All right. So I watched. We'll talk about just Aquaman and Shazam, because 2 different opinions. I know Jake Juggalo is probably excited about Aquaman, because I'm pretty sure he's the one that posted the trailer that I was like, oh, that came out. Let me check it out. I think some elements of Aquaman look okay, but for the most part, it's just I kind of meh about it. Shazam, Tyler, I know you're probably, I think in the context of the comedy stuff, this movie would actually benefit from that, because the trailer to me seemed okay. It seemed fun, especially when we're going from what DC has put out thus far. I think it looks fine. and I think the comedy elements would work simply because he is a kid after all, and that kind of makes sense. Well, what were your thoughts and opinions on those trailers? I thought at the end of the Aquaman one, seeing the battles and riding the sharks and everything looked cool to a degree, but the CG still just not good, I thought.
Yeah, you kind of makes you wonder where, why is it some movies can look pretty good with their CGI and others can say they spent endless amounts of cash on these films, and well, where the hell did it go? What did you spend it on? Catering?
Mm-hmm.
But Aquaman, I was intrigued by a good part of it, but when they kept making sure, just remember, it ain't serious, guys. We got lots of jokes in here. You'll have nothing but laughs. You'll be rolling in the aisles laughing. Oh man, you gotta love redheads. Oh man, I'm telling you, man, that's the wittiest screenwriter I've ever seen. If they hadn't had any of that, I'd say the majority did look pretty good. I really was interested in seeing Black Manta in action, so I was glad we got to see samples of that. That was the more intriguing part for me, was seeing Black Manta in action. Jason Momoa looks good as Aquaman, and the origin story and everything looks pretty good. But I'm like, son of a bitch, man. I'm tired of comedy just infesting or in every movie we watch now. Like you can't watch a movie and get goosebumps and excited. I mean, hell, look, when the Christopher Nolan Batman movies came out, when we all know what I think about those. At least the trailers were serious and they were letting you know that, look, shit's gonna happen in this movie. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. That would, and then some of the TV spots, some really lame ass moments. That's what kind of made me worried about Batman Begins. But still, like the advertising, I mean, Batman '89 and Batman Returns and the Spider-Man movies, at least hell, even the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films had more serious trailers than the horse shit we're seeing right now. Even Spider-Man 3 had a more serious tone. The movie is just god awful, but when you watch the trailer, at least it makes it look like what's going to happen in this movie is supposed to up the ante of what Peter Parker is going to go through. And I just, I've always been curious of what an Aquaman movie would look like, but no, I don't have any faith in it. I didn't enjoy Wonder Woman. I got around to seeing Wonder Woman.
Oh, really? Yeah, I still haven't watched that. Okay,
it's everything on Themyscira was great, and then once she leaves there, it's the cliche fish out of water. Watch how naive she is around, the current aspects of modern civilization, and she's like, it's like, God, we've seen this before.
So it's kind of like that entire thing of Captain America and Avengers, where he's like, "Oh, I understood that joke." Is it kind of
just but that's the whole movie, though. I mean,
okay.
and it got to where I'm like, it just didn't need. I didn't finish it because we're almost 2 hours in, or way over an hour in. I'm like, you know what? I
think that's part of the problem too. Stop making these things like 2 hours and 45 minutes long. Like they don't need to.
We don't need to be that. Get more comedy in, because I will say the first 15, 20 minutes of one was quite good and very interesting. Seeing Paradise Island and the lifestyle that the women on that island had made for themselves, learning to train and fight. That was all like I wanted to see a movie all about that, not her going to England and doing the whole like montage of like, bumping into men and being hit on and all this other bullshit. It's just like, God, we saw it in Thor. You see it in all these other movies. Are you out? I mean, I would love to just ask Hollywood straight up. Is it not just something we're saying? Are you out of ideas for movies?
I mean,
repeating the same shit.
Most likely.
Yeah. But, and then Shazam, this is where I felt like, okay, they've cast The Rock to play Black Adam. He looks the part. But when you're seeing a movie that looks like this, like, shit, it's going to be more of The Rock, doing one-liners and cocking his eyebrow or some nonsense.
So you didn't think that? I thought the trailer was effective. I thought it worked.
I don't want to see a silly Captain Marvel movie, even though it's a boy given these powers. Like, I would like to see an epic story about this boy who's been given this responsibility.
I would hope that towards the end, when we're getting towards the climactic battle with the movie's villain, that it will take a serious tone and he will kind of realize the mantle that he has potentially. I mean, it's probably not going to happen that way, but
no.
Yeah.
I mean, plus when you look at the actor playing Captain Marvel, when he's wearing a full scale bodysuit, and he's not, and what I know caused a lot of backlash. When I saw it, I'm like, yeah, it looks very disproportionate. Where he's got this real thin head and everything in this big padded bodysuit, it just looks silly. So when you got your superhero look silly to begin with,
Yeah.
Because the actor obviously didn't, they didn't train him and get him in shape for the movie. I mean, hell, even when Batfleck is wearing a bodysuit, you like to think that, he's in relatively good shape, and Henry Cavill plays Superman. At least a lot of the guys who are playing current superheroes do train and get in shape and try and look the part to a certain degree, even though they are going to be wearing a bit of a padded suit because you can't show muscle definition through a lot of that material. It's not a real comic book. So I understand that. But it just, I don't know. I'm just, people know it. I'm just.
I mean, I'm kind of there too. I mean, superhero fatigue, dude. I'm tired of.
And I'm not. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not excited for superhero movies anymore. I watch those trailers just because they're there on Facebook out of curiosity. But I'm just so burnt out. It's going to take something really special to come along. It's going to be a long time because these movies are so damn successful. The trend is not going to stop anytime soon. Not the next couple of years. So I don't think I'll be seeing another superhero movie for a long time unless someone decides to come along and do a complete 180 on these movies. Because I'm glad kids are getting to enjoy them. They don't know any different. They're not meant for me, and that's where I just say, all right, I'm not going to argue with it. I just won't see it.
Kind of the same way, or I'll just wait until it comes out on Redbox
and get drunk.
Yep. That's the best way to make it through some of them sometimes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
give Joe the thumbs up there.
We're ready, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, Joe's clearly like, okay, you guys are talking too damn long. I'm going to play with scissors here. I need something to do here.
Hey.
All right. Yeah. No. There was no sign that you were getting bored with that discussion there, Joe.
Well, I couldn't hear it. Like I said, I couldn't hear what was going on.
Okay, guys, I'm playing with scissors. That's why I said, hurry the hell up.
I was ready to run with these fuckers. Hey, I see that. Who Dat Whale is here too, so thank you for joining us. There, I think we acknowledge every single person in the chat room. So, yeah. Well, I hope you guys had a good discussion. I don't know what the heck was going on, but
it was basically just like, this stuff isn't that great. We're tired of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
More me. We're complaining. Everything's too funny. People have heard it before. Shut up, Tyler. I like the jokes.
Well, hey, for anybody that thinks that us, or especially Tyler at times, like you guys always say, "Oh, Tyler, come on now, you gotta relax." Well, we're still gonna probably be angry with some parts because we're gonna be talking about video games that were turned into movies. Which ones worked, which ones didn't, and there's ones that were back in the day sucked too. So don't think that we loved every single thing back then.
I'm just gonna go out at the top of this and just say most of them didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. There were some bombs. Like there was one I seen one time when I was a kid. I haven't watched it since. I barely remember it. I just know I hated the look of Alyssa Milano because she was somebody I thought was so
exactly. Hot. He was to start with Double Dragon before he even said anything.
And we would go right to Double Dragon. I just remembered, just as a kid watching, I was like, this is a horrible damn movie. I didn't like it. I hated her look. Damn it, I hate her look. But I don't even know what the hell the plot was about. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I just knew it sucked when I was a kid. And I don't know if it's something that ages better within time, but I'll let you guys.
Ages better.
No. I watched it this morning, actually. I have a copy of it on DVD. I got it as a Christmas gift. It was kind of like a little gag thing from
How the hell did you find that? I didn't even know it had been released on DVD.
I don't know how he found it either. I don't even want to know how much he paid for it, but I do own a copy of Double Dragon on DVD, so I popped that bastard in this morning, and it aged just as bad as you thought it would. It's terrible. I'll go ahead and say this. And here's kind of the big difference between video game movies then and now. See, now they can develop movies based off of games that have actual cinematics and things, which also doesn't make any sense because those end up not doing well. And they're like, well, we want to make a movie. And I'm like, well, you already have one. It's in the game now. We're looking before Double Dragon, the beginning, punch to the stomach, picks her up, walks away, boom.
You're off and running.
How do you make a movie off of that? And that's where most of the problem stemmed from when they developed all of these films back then. Here is a game that has just a basic, simple plot line, and it's your job to actually come up with a more complex story. Like you're doomed from the start. But Double Dragon, It's basically Robert Patrick trying to get the other half of a medallion from Billy and Jimmy, and shenanigans ensue. There's a little bit of fighting, but for the most part, they just kind of run away half the time.
Yeah.
And, a Bobo looks like a big giant turd, and he
it's one of the henchmen from The Mask.
and he farts a lot, and it's just bad. I don't know. Like, what else is there to say about it?
I mean, I enjoyed it as a kid to a certain degree. Like, it was a movie that me and my brother. And I looking back at it, I guess just because, we saw that it was Double Dragon. Double Dragon was such a cool property, still is. And it really didn't bother me that it wasn't the street level street fighting. It was this post-apocalyptic world where the Power Core and Alyssa Milano and a pixie hairdo and all that other bullshit. And
that one scene though where she's like
showing her ass
when she crawls through that tunnel.
Well, that's yummy, but otherwise,
she's got a beautiful tan. She looks good, and I was not a fan of girls with short hair when I was a kid. If you were a girl and you had long hair, you were hot in my book. When she had the pixie hairdo, I'm like, I can't make it.
And the color, I didn't like that blonde white color hair. It just did not fit her well at all.
I wouldn't have kicked her out of bed.
Oh
no!
I mean, if she showed up right here in that pixie hairdo, hell yeah! I'm closing up the podcast, and
that's it.
My couch has become like the latest battleground there. But no, I mean, it's I was thinking about it earlier today because of what I was going to say about it, and I mean, I still think Double Dragon, because of its simplicity, would make a kick-ass movie because it's just about two brothers. If you're going by the sequels, not the very first game, which is what I always associate Double Dragon being, is Billy and Jimmy Lee as brothers teaming up and not fighting each other at the end of the first game. And having a beautiful woman, a girlfriend of one of the brothers, beaten and kidnapped, and now they got to go through hordes of various gang members, and get to the boss and fight through various muscle heads like a Bobo, which in the game was a big muscular black dude. I'm like, why the hell? I remember when I saw them, like, that's a Bobo? It's like, that's one of the bad guys from The Mask. And he's got a mohawk, and he's teaming up with Gary from Weird Science.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, I noticed it there, too.
Yeah, and then they throw in references to Lash, which was the girl with the whips in the game. Of course, she looks really hot in this instead of like the kind of punk rocker hairdo. And I think Robert Patrick's supposed to be I guess is considered the Shadow Master from like Double Dragon. At least the third one was the Shadow Master in the second game, guys.
Shit, I don't know.
I can't remember.
And the cartoon series that was on around the time as well with the action figure line, stuff like that. But I still think Double Dragon could be a good movie because like an 80s, like how Kung Fury was shot, make it look like an old 80s VHS tape and shoot it with these two guys taped up fists, a red bandana, a blue bandana, going through, asking questions and getting to a back alley fight getting to another back alley fight, running into beautiful women, trying to get to the girl so they can fight the boss, rescue the girl. Keep it simple. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like Nathan said, they decided to take a very simple idea and which like with Mario, I kind of expected, because when you hear about that, you're like, how the hell are they going to make that into a movie?
That was always just a bad idea from the beginning.
It wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it was going to be like an animated film, you kind of feel like, and even though we all can admit we were all intrigued with the idea of a live action Mario Brothers, but we all were. Who wasn't? But you just kind of feel like, oh, how are they going to do, like, going through all the tubes and the man-eating plants and the Koopas and the all the flying, forgive me, Mario fans, but the bullet with the angry face and the various little creatures and stuff. Yeah. You just and Bowser and Bowser's kids that you see in the Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon.
It's like, no, it's just gonna be fucking Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper, who's a reptile in disguise, and
yeah, because we're going right into that. We're obviously going right to Super Mario Brothers, but my God, you're right. It was just another thing of a hot mess. And Luigi didn't look like Luigi. I'm expecting the damn mustache. I mean, Mario. I think I enjoyed seeing Captain Lou as Mario more. And when I seen this guy, Bob Hoskins, or whatever the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as Mario, it just didn't fit. And then I was like, what the hell is Bowser? And wait, is that supposed to be Yoshi? I'm like, what the hell is going on in this movie? It's just a damn hot mess. It was just terrible, terrible. Damn, was that a bad movie?
Well, I was fine with Bob. I was actually fine with the casting. Like,
I was.
Well, I mean, as a kid, like Bob Hoskins looked like Mario. I was fine with John Leguizamo, and I really didn't know who John
Oh.
Leguizamo was at the
I
time.
love
But the fact that they were wearing, the green and red suits and everything, I was fine with all that. But when the movie took place, and I saw that Yoshi was going to be, oh man, it's going to be so cool, and the princess is in it too, and it's just like this kind of futuristic amalgam of they're in a different world, and then they're on modern day. Or I don't know. I've only seen it once when on a VHS and haven't seen it since.
Good
Yeah,
thing.
it was kind of like they took Mario and put them in Demolition Man or something, like
It's
just
weird.
that,
It feel
yeah,
like
that weird
it did,
dystopian, like futuristic. The world's gone to shit, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I don't like that. I always hate when they have to do that. It seems like they always have to make everything look post-apocalyptic and everything's just a disaster. And that doesn't fit for every damn type of movie. Does it work for some? Of course it does. But not every single movie needs to have that look and that tone. And
If anything, if something needed to be funny and comedy, that would be your movie to do more of that in, and not instead. It was just this meek, damp, dark piece of shit. It just
it didn't fit.
Yeah, no,
Especially within the tone, you think of Mario. Sure, we have the castles that are dark, some of the levels, but usually we're used to Super Mario Brothers. It's a colorful world. You're used to that brightness and colors, with of course being enemies. But they took every bit of that out of the damn movie. They tried something, and they turned it in a whole different direction. It just did not work. And I've never. There might be fans of it out there, but I've never met one. I've never met.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I never met anybody said, I love Super Mario. Unlike Mortal Kombat, boy, when that movie came out, went to the theater, just people lost their shit. I remember being there when it just, the first day, and just the crowd being full. And from the beginning to the end, just the electricity and the screaming. And, sometimes I don't know if that's what adds to the element of a movie for me getting excited. But when you have the whole crowd jumping and screaming and going nuts with stuff that's going on TV, and like, oh my God, they're showing him. Oh my God, that's that. It's like, and even Goro, people want to pick on maybe, oh, it looks kind of silly now.
No, I thought it looked fantastic.
I loved it. I thought it worked, and he frightened the piss out of me. But Mortal Kombat, that was the first video game to movie that I loved and really, really liked, was Mortal Kombat. The next one, the Annihilation or whatever, I didn't like, but...
Well, no, I was going to say, if you look up a list of video game films and you get the Wikipedia article, and it shows, like, here's the long list of them, here's the Metacritic score, here's the Rotten Tomatoes percentage. If you click on that to kind of separate it from highest percentage to lowest, Mortal Kombat is still sitting there near the top, and there's a reason for that. Like, out of all of these films, it is probably my favorite, hands down, because it, for one, took the property and actually, like, did it justice. And it didn't stray too far, and it brought in enough characters, but it also kind of had that benefit of actually having somewhat of a story to go off of too. So, but yeah, no, it's I, instead of watching Rampage and renting that last night, I watched Mortal Kombat instead. Still holds up.
You made
it's
the right choice.
Well, still gonna watch Rampage because I
I
was
have
like,
something to say later. Later, I'm gonna have something to say about Rampage. But yeah,
because you watched it.
yeah, I've seen Rampage. Yeah.
All right, right on.
But I'll let Tyler talk about Mortal Kombat because he hasn't talked about it yet. But yeah,
still is by far the best video game adaptation I've ever seen. It was. I remember going opening night. My mom all took me and my brother. And she thought we were going to go see a Ninja Turtles film, which I don't know how the hell, when we tell her Mortal Kombat, she thinks it's Ninja Turtles, and she was really off put by. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what she was thinking, but
I mean, there were ninjas and there were reptiles, so
there were, but that was before we went into the movie. Because when we got out, she said, "I thought I was taking you boys to see Ninja Turtles. That was awful." Like, she was just so taken aback by it. But I remember, like, when the movie came out, my dad was in California on business and saw it in L.A. and called me and my brother and said, "You guys are going to like this film," because it was so cool, because my dad really got into watching Mortal Kombat and was quoting the movie with me and my brother.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and we bought the movie magazine, and I remember seeing the trailer attached to Street Fighter, like the very first teaser trailer that ever came out for Mortal Kombat, which is hard to find. It's on YouTube if you dig, and you can actually find the very first trailer that was ever released for it. It's not the one that was attached to Dumb and Dumber, or that if you look at the movie trailer on YouTube, you'll see like this trailer with narration. Like, this had no narration. It was it was like screenshots of like, nothing in this world, and it kept showing you like footage. And I remember being super excited. Like, not only were we seeing Street Fighter, but then you see the first advertisement for Mortal Kombat attached to it, and you're like, oh my God, this is coming out later this year. And I remember reading the magazines too, that Mortal Kombat was due out, I think, in April or May. Then they pushed it back to August. Like, oh no, I had to wait longer. But going that Friday night, opening night, it was jam packed. And when that Mortal Kombat screen with the New Line Cinema logo comes flashing on, I still get goosebumps just thinking about it, let alone watching it. And the music kicks in, the fire's bursting. And I mean, everybody was screaming and yelling in the theater. When Sub-Zero and Scorpion showed up, you could hear all the guys go,
"Yeah,
oh!"
That's what I mean. Yeah, people were.
It was exciting as hell. I mean, that's what made it so good. Nathan's already said this too, is that they decided we're not going to try and put our own spin on and show my creativity as a director or a screenwriter, or some sort of bullshit like that. They took the story and followed it to a T, because I know Ed Boon and John Tobias, I believe, worked along with them as well. They kept all the costumes and the character designs looking very reminiscent of what we'd seen in the games. Sure. And it's pretty cool that they've taken the actor who's no longer with us, who played Kano, who was Australian, and Kano has been since portrayed as an Australian character in the Mortal Kombat games, which I thought that's so cool that people loved his interpretation of Kano so much that they decided to make him Australian from there on out.
I hated the fact that he just died in this film. I really didn't like that. I wish that he would have stuck around.
Oh, I mean, they ended up killing off pretty much damn near everybody, but just bring him back with no real reason in the sequel, just because they said, they're like, Vince McMahon, they don't remember anything, just do it, damn
man. Oh, that.
And it's not too often. You're right. That's not too often that you see something happen in a movie to where it'll then, like you said, carry on a portrayal of a certain character along with the music, because the game was just hysteria. I mean, Mortal Kombat, I mean, it was like Mortal Mania. It was insanity. Anybody that you knew was talking about that damn game when it came out, from the arcades to the home systems and everything. But that's Mortal Kombat, dun, 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 dun. That damn soundtrack for that movie was so hot. I mean, you're hearing it played at ball games, anything, the hype, pep rallies. It's rare. Like I said, it's rare that a movie can capitalize off a video game so hard, but then a lot of things from the movie are so damn iconic. That doesn't happen too often, but it just shows what Mortal Kombat could do from that damn movie. That's why it is. You're right. It is the best video game to movie that they've done so far, based off video game. It is the best. It's just,
and they had great fighting in the movie, like all the fight scenes, and not to, I mean, and Bridget Nielsen, who played or Bridget Wilson, excuse me, who played Sonya. Like I've checked on it. Sounds pretty legit. She was brought in last minute, so obviously she didn't have a whole lot of time to train and get in the best shape. So that's why I feel like it's unfortunate that her one moment in the movie to fight Kano is relatively lackluster, because it's like she, as far as I know, she was brought in and replaced Cameron Diaz, who was playing Sonya Blade originally. Like she broke her wrist or something like that. That's why she had to be replaced. But other than, and even that, it's not that bad. But everybody else, from Robin Chow, who played Liu Kang, and Lyndon Ashby played Johnny Cage, Kerry Tagawa playing Shang Tsung. I mean, and the actors who played Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Reptile just were, everything looks so good. The sets look great, like being on that island, Shang Tsung's island. And, just even though you didn't see a whole lot of stages that were reminiscent of the game, other than like Shang Tsung sitting in a chair and watching the fights, kind of like the courtyard scene in the first Mortal Kombat, in the pit, of course, which when you see that in the trailer, like, oh my God, the pit's going to be in the movie. So you're just like, someone's gonna be hitting the pit, and then throwing in Liu Kang's fireball at once, Reptile spitting acid. Of course, when I heard that was Reptile before, because that at least that was a cool Easter egg. Because I was told my buddy Matt Hilton that, Reptile's in the movie. That lizard you see, that's Reptile. I'm like, what? This is bullshit. But when you see the movie, and you know what, it makes absolutely no sense why this creature falls into a statue and just suddenly turns the statue into a green ninja. Like, you know what? When you see it, you don't give a shit, because when the guy comes on and says Reptile, and the music kicks in, you're like, oh my God, you just I don't care, it doesn't mean anything. And just seeing that fight, you're like, oh man, it's playing on my nipples right now. Oh, it's so sore. You know, just you get so pumped from that.
No, it worked. It
Yeah.
worked.
God
Did it bother you guys with Scorpion though? Because you know, his days, get
voiceover with the
over,
spear
get
tongue.
over here. No, just where he was like, he kept referencing to the man that line where he's like, get down here, and I'm like, okay,
Well,
I know
feel
what you-
like
I know
they're
what you
trying to
mean.
give him.
trying to give
it
him more
wasn't
to say,
necessary 'cause
but I'm just like, okay,
well,
we're
hell,
just taking,
Sub-Zero
we're
didn't
just,
even talk in the movie.
yeah.
I feel like, you know what, the ninjas didn't need to talk. Like Scorpion doing his "get over here" once.
That's
That
all you
should have
needed.
been it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So,
everybody else got away without talking because they didn't need to talk.
Yeah.
All right,
The
so
get down here was too much. I understand what you mean. Yeah.
But the ending, I remember being like, me and my brother we lost our shit when that really bad CGI Shao Kahn bursts out. I've come for your
you
souls.
know, even though it looked bad, I'm like, it still looks cool. It's the same thing.
Well, no,
like,
that's what we said too. It was just like, oh man, this is a sequel. You know, just
so
unbelievable.
let's talk about that. What went wrong here with Annihilation?
I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Let's say, what did they get right?
Not much.
Nothing. They got nothing right in it.
Probably the fatality at the end.
Yeah.
But how did the CG get worse? Is it just I haven't because you think about it, the movie was really successful. So when they're pushing a sequel, you would think that the budget would be bigger. I haven't number crunched or anything, but was the budget smaller for this? Like, what happened?
I think they cut the budget and they also shot it in a very short amount of time as well. Like they tried to capitalize on how popular the first film did.
So it's just a total just rush job.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, where part 3 did so good, let's shoot part 4 and have it out, even less time. And that made more like, okay, let's do the same thing with the 5th film. And, I get they try to save money and make the most money, but, it certainly didn't help that they jam-packed the film with so many characters that.
And they replaced a lot of people too.
Yeah, well, who can blame? I don't blame Lyndon Ashby for not coming back when you're just going to kill Johnny Cage off in the first 2 minutes.
That's actually kind of one of my favorite parts because I never really liked Johnny Cage that much.
Man, you suck, man.
Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat, and then Paul in Tekken. I fucking hated Paul in Tekken.
Yeah, I don't like Paul in Tekken either. But Johnny Cage kicks ass, man.
No, when Johnny Cage got killed at that, I was like, yeah, all right, and then it was just all downhill from there.
Oh, and just a quick little side note, not that it makes any difference, but the budget for the original Mortal Kombat was $18 million, and the sequel had a budget of $30 million. So go figure.
Wow.
What? Yeah.
So,
yeah,
all right, well, I guess it's just, pressuring the special effects guys. Hey, this needs to be done because this is coming, and they just fucking rushed it out. So there you go.
Yeah, just a rush job. And, I wished I could have got as excited for Street Fighter, the movie, as I did for Mortal Kombat. Now, I know Tyler, of course, being a big Van Damme fan, which I am as well. That's why I was excited. I was like, what the hell is up with this movie? Now, I'm a super Street Fighter fan, and that's no pun intended for Super Street Fighter 2 and all that crap. I got a million of them. But no, I love that damn series. And it always basically, especially when you start seeing some of the cartoons and the anime, usually revolves around Ken and Ryu. And those were my go-to guys. Here comes this fucking movie, and I was like, God, they're just like put to be into these little side hustling dipshits or whatever. And now we have Guile as being the main character. I was like, what the fuck's up with Dhalsim? That's not Dhalsim, as I know. I was like, what is going on with this movie? I just hated the damn movie. I probably haven't watched it since I was a kid, maybe once or twice. Damn, did I hate that movie? Now there's parts that make, I don't know.
That's another case of the game itself didn't have much of a story. Like, yeah, they get a little bit of text if you beat it with a character, but it's, kind of vague and doesn't really give you too much. So they're like, here's the characters, do a story. We need to put a movie out. And
what the hell happened to Chun-Li in that movie? What the hell was up with Chun-Li?
What the hell happened with anybody in that movie?
Yes.
Like none of it made sense. And Tyler and I have talked about it's kind of more of a G.I. Joe movie than the G.I. Joe movies that we got.
Oh, really? I'd like to hear what you guys said about that. I'd never really heard, that kind of comparison before.
If you think about it too, the Street Fighter action figure line was done by Hasbro and was tied in with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, didn't they make some
game version?
Yeah,
they made some based on the video game. Then they did a line based on the movie.
Okay.
And when I rewatched it last year, I got home and my dad was already here and he was watching. I'm like, oh, that's kind of like random and fun. So I sat down and actually decided to finish watching it. As I was watching it, like, you know what? This really comes off as a G.I. Joe movie, with Van Damme being Duke, M. Bison's Cobra Commander, Sagat is Destro, Vega is Storm Shadow, Chun-Li is Jinx. You've got Balrog is I'd probably say probably Roadblock, and then T-Hawk is Spirit. Cammy is kind of like a Lady J / kind of Scarlet character. And Ken and Ryu, Ryu is more like Quick Kick. Ken could probably be a wide variety of characters, probably like a Falcon or something like that. But with M. Bison having troops, much like Cobra Commander has Cobra Vipers and Cobra Officers and stuff.
I like
He's
that.
dealing with and Sagat is an arms dealer, much like Destro. And they've got a silent assassin, much like Storm Shadow, who Vega is. And you got these armed forces fighting at a
I had a question for you, Tyler.
Damn it! I'm on a roll here.
No, I know, but I had a question because it makes me lead up to it. You said they made the Street Fighter figures, and then they also did movie versions. But did they make Street Fighter figures in that G.I. Joe style before the Street Fighter movie?
Yeah.
They did. Do you think then that possibly maybe they did get inspiration?
It wouldn't surprise me that they would just be like, "Hey,
yeah."
Well, I was going to say the way Tyler's breaking it down, because he told me that kind of in a condensed version. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
It sounds like it. Yeah. He sounds like he made a great point. That's why I wondered if they got inspiration from G.I. Joe after doing these figures.
Well, and that's this thing. That's one of those things where there's just been a little bits of info that's been released about the behind the scenes stuff. Like I've heard that Steven DeSouza, who went to Capcom, was given the green light on the script, but didn't have a whole lot of time to actually put out a fully developed. It just kind of makes you wonder: did anybody who worked for Hasbro, who was working on this toy line, have any influence or talk with Steven DeSouza, or have any kind of input on the set? Because it just really feels like you're watching what should be a G.I. Joe movie, with M. Bison being a world dictator. He's got hostages. His base looks like the Terrordrome. It's inside an old temple. Much like how Cobra Commander set up his headquarters in these old castles and temples with these elaborate interior bases.
Mm-hmm.
DJ is kind of like I was trying to think right off the top of my head. I forget what DJ, but Zangief is kind of like a big boa kind of character, big enforcer, kind of brute character. It just feels like this is what someone felt like, if we can't get a G.I. Joe movie made, let's do it through this. And obviously it's changed a bit, because I often felt like, because Van Damme had done Lionheart, which is essentially Street Fighter, I often felt like, well, he's already done that. Let's do something that's going to kind of mix things up and make it a little bit, but we'll include all the kind of martial arts and kung fu fighting and stuff like that too. So
there's the conspiracy theory. Tyler and I believe that
I've never seen it anywhere. It's just something I thought up and talked to Nathan about.
We're going with it. The conspiracy theory is Street Fighter the movie is actually a G.I. Joe film.
Yeah, whether truth or not, I like it. I like that.
Well, which if you watch it in the mindset of this is a G.I. Joe movie, it kind of makes it a little bit better, right?
Well, maybe I'll go back and watch it thinking I'm watching a G.I. Joe movie and I can understand it. But you know what? I can't even do that, because I told you I didn't watch the fucking cartoon growing up because all the Yo Joe jokes when I'd go to school, and that's what made me hate
you need to watch it, man. G.I. Joe is an excellent cartoon.
Hell yeah, it is, man.
No, it probably is. I was bitter in school. I hated that. I hated hearing that every morning, every middle of the day before I go to. God damn it, I hated it. Okay, well so there's Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. We went to Street Fighter. Now, there's another one I was going to mention. Might not be everybody's super favorite, but I was a big Tomb Raider fan playing the game, and when that movie came out with Angelina Jolie, I was like, God damn. talk about just hot, but it had a cool story. It felt like I was watching a movie version of the video game and its story, because we already know the Tomb Raider that's being done. Now it's turned into a movie, but that sure put her career path rate skyrocketing. It was her doing, Lara Croft, but I thought they did a great job with Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. That was another video game movie that I like. Not as much as Mortal Kombat, but I was always a big Tomb Raider fan. I just love the puzzles and shit. I like that exploration and finding treasure. So I guess that maybe sucked me into wanting to watch the movie. Plus, looking at her.
Well, I only played the first game, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to play Tomb Raider 2, and then it came out, and I can't remember what other games came out around that time that sort of just took my attention away from it.
Okay.
It may have been the N64 wrestling games and all that stuff.
Oh dear God! I mean, but okay. God, it was a fucking hot mess. But go ahead.
But I actually haven't watched those Tomb Raider movies.
Never, God, just to see Angelina Jolie and just Jesus. Oh, really?
I think they're on Netflix still.
Watch them.
Tyler, did you see either of those?
I just saw the first in theaters once. I thought it was okay, and that was it. I played the first game, and I couldn't get out of the cave. And I said, "Out of the hell with this property." So no, I have nothing. I have nothing else to say on Tomb Raider other than that.
Tyler sucked at the game.
No, and that's an impression. No, and I can understand relatable things. If there's some games you'd play, and if you didn't enjoy or didn't get into, what the hell would make you want to have an interest for the movie? But I love the games.
It looked intriguing. Me and my brother both went to go see it. We thought it was okay, but we had no desire to see it after that. Like it was fine. She was pretty in it, but it was.
Yeah, I liked. I mean, I'll be honest. When I watch it again, it's kind of I do love looking at her. I mean, it is kind of maybe the main thing.
She's
like
so overrated in general. Like there's times where she can look great, and other times like, God, lady, put on some makeup or something. You're like, what?
This put her on the map. It was this movie though. That's what I mean. This is the movie that started it all for her. And good gracious, they couldn't have chosen a better person to play Laura Croft.
Telling me? No, wait. Now, slow the hell down. Are you telling me that Angelina became a star because of Tomb Raider? Is that what you just said?
Yes. Oh no, that's a fact.
Mind? Oh,
tell me a movie that she did before that was bigger.
Well, I mean,
Bone Collector and Girls Interrupted got her an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, I was gonna. Well, no, didn't she win for Girls Interrupted?
Yes, she won that, and being the Bone Collector, which was a sleeper hit with Denzel Washington, was a big hit. Joe's like, no. Her career got started from Joe Turner.
Girl Interrupted came out in '99. I think Tomb Raider didn't come out until what 2001.
2001, but Girl Interrupted. I was like, I never even watched that damn movie, but that was something.
I haven't either. I haven't seen that or the Bone Collector.
This is what I think most people remember her from being. No kid. This is what I would think most people remembered her. At least guys, I guess, is the ones that.
This is why you hide behind a mask.
This is what I'd say. Guys or anybody. No, really. This is what I knew her from. I didn't know what a fucking Girl Interrupted is. I still don't know what that movie is. It's not like that's the main.
Really, you never saw anything like her and Winona Ryder? They're like in a what? It's not. Is it an insane asylum or is it like something for women? I can't remember.
Yeah, it
sounds terrific. It sounds great. It sounds like a movie I need to watch right now. This was the movie that I know was a blockbuster.
You got to check out Rawhide Rex. People, change your life, man. I swear to God.
I'm gonna look it up, but I swear this is a movie that probably did get her more recognition. I think is.
Oh my God, Joe!
People know. I don't think
wins an Oscar, and you're telling me no, help that.
Yep.
No,
this movie right here.
This woman has.
All right. Let's agree on this. That the Tomb Raider franchise was what kind of set in motion for her to make more money in films.
That's what I was meaning. That's what I meant the whole time. Really, is this? And then she started appearing in more action movies. That's what I'd see her in. There's a lot of movies where she was doing action. Was after she.
But you're also forgetting, Joe. She was in the sequel to Cyborg.
She was what?
The sequel. She was in Cyborg 2 and Hackers, man. Hackers. Hackers is great. I know it's really dumb, but I like that movie.
I didn't know she was in that Cyborg movie. That's because I didn't like Cyborg. I think I watched that again once. That wasn't my kind of movie.
I know Tyler doesn't like Cyborg either.
It was
Van Damme's earlier back catalog of films. That's definitely it's just a hard movie to sit through because it's just so slow paced and monotonous.
I enjoyed it.
No. I think it's cool when people do like it because I still have an appreciation for the film. Much like Jaws 3 is an absolute chore to watch. I have an appreciation for the film. I like knowing information about it. And plus, the behind the scenes stuff about Cyborg is fascinating in itself. But it's still a hard movie to sit through. There's got some cool visuals in it for such a low budget canon film. But I mean, it's not. It's just something I've tried to watch multiple times. And like, God, I just can't sit through this movie. Not in the sense where I'm like, oh my God, this is like Ghost Rider. No, nothing like that. But just to make fun of Joe, I love how Joe's like the studio exec. I can make you a star because you're in Tomb Raider. You are aware I've won an Oscar. I I'll make you a star because of your big boobies. And you put around.
Well, you think of that. How many times there's been those stupid Oscar movies we talk about, or somebody says, "Oh, they want an Oscar for this movie." You're like,
I know, but it was just how oblivious
like
you were
about
her
like, that was
career
the first
before Tomb
movie
Raider.
I'd seen her
It's
that
just
she had
like-
her big starring role. Because the other ones, I don't know if she had the
No,
big.
it's beautiful on a headset because like you're both talking, and I hear Tyler in my left, and I hear Joe on my right, and I'm just
Well,
like
I'm
they're
honest,
talking
too.
over each other, and it's
Because I wasn't going to stop. I was not going to stop. But when it comes to
I know I wasn't either. Like,
but I know in Tomb Raider, at least in Tomb Raider, that was a starring role. It was all about her. I was like, I don't know about in Girl Interrupted or Bone Collector if she was the main star doing the whole thing. But I was like, in this one, I knew she was the main star the whole entire time. And then after that, you started seeing a lot of other movies from her where she done the main starring role. So
Tyler looks like he's about to pass out or something. You all right over there?
No, I had my head
Bone?
cocked.
Was she the main
What?
star in the Bone Collector? Because I can't remember.
Her and Denzel, like that was
Okay,
like
'cause
her breakout movie was that where she's, with Denzel's
In this
laying
Girl
in bed doing
Interrupted,
like
that I didn't know what the hell Girl Interrupted is. Was she again the main star in that, or was it sharing the role?
she was
with
a
someone?
supporting actress, but it got her a lot of acclaim and like she was on notice because of that in The Bone Collector.
That's probably what led to her to get the role in Tomb Raider. Honestly,
Sure.
Because she became a big star and a big name. So attaching someone like Angelina Jolie to a video game property, that was a big deal when it happened because this is a top tier celebrity. She's going to be in a video game movie. So,
yeah, because like even Gone in 60 Seconds, I know that was out before then, but I know that wasn't really a starring role. But I know that her first main starring role, I thought, was her as Lara Croft. That's what most people, I think, recognize her. Of course,
they wouldn't.
People like me, the average person wouldn't have known. I would have known her as Lara Croft. I would have never known Girl Interrupted or Bone Collector. I'd be like, oh, she was in that movie. She was in that movie. But I was like, oh, that's fucking Lara Croft right there. So that's why for me, it was a recognizable role. And I think it started getting her in a whole bunch of action movies. So that's my thought. People gonna like it or take it, shove it up the ass. I don't care. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, I'm taking it and shoving it up my ass because I don't buy it for a second.
You do it. And you take this bottle, and as The Rock would say, your favorite wrestler, you turn it sideways. You know what you could do with it. So there you go. That's my thought on Lara Croft.
Didn't he do the worst, silliest promos about taking something up your ass? Like he just tried to be so like.
I did. Didn't I? Speaking of The Rock, Rampage was a good movie. Now, you talk about movies where they sit there and they have no plot whatsoever. You're like, how the hell can I turn this into a movie? Well, they actually were able to take George, Ralph, Lizzie, and that whole entire plot of these just three creatures that were destroying the city, and they made a cool-ass movie out of it. I liked Rampage, so I think that you might like that, Nathan.
I'm looking forward to it, especially when I'm going to have drink in hand.
Yeah, because I was like, how the hell can they... I remember when I seen the previews, I was like, Rampage? Rampage? It's like, this is a video game I loved. I love just picking I always pick George. I'd smash a building. I was like, a movie? What the hell can they do to turn this into a movie? But they actually made a cool ass story and turned it, and we was like, wow, that worked. So people haven't seen Rampage. I thought it was good, but you said you rented it, but you haven't watched it yet.
Oh no, I haven't rented. I'm gonna when we after the show, I'm gonna go out and rent it, and then I'm gonna show up to Tyler's place and we're gonna watch it. Tyler, you better clear your schedule for the rest of the day.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
We're gonna watch Rampage, and then we're gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we'll go to the movies and see Skyscraper with The Rock. Can we get back to his promos for a second? Because you're always talking about how he's trying to be cute or whatever. Like, it worked for the first little bit. I remember specifically once he went from being corporate Rock and they were starting to turn him face a little bit, and he had that triple threat. Well, maybe I'm kind of getting timelines mixed up here a little bit. But once they started to turn him face, I was just like, man, he's just saying the same shit over and over and over. And it got really stale for me. But over a period of time, like, he would come up with new things, and it would kind of freshen him up a little bit, but then that would get really stale.
Well, I mean, but he, like when he did his promo with Hogan for WrestleMania 18, like that was good. Like he sounded good on the mic. He said a lot of cool stuff. That was all good. But when he says you're Rudy Poo, candy ass, or turn it sideways, turn that something, it's like, just, dude, stop trying to be so cool and tough. Keep it simple. That's some of the best promos when they keep it simple.
But I mean, at the same time too, Hogan's promos were basically the same thing over and over, prayers and vitamins and shit
Yeah,
like that. So.
They were, but see, I still like those because of the simplicity about it. I liked Perfect's promos. I like Jake the Snake's promos. $1 Million Man always ended with his maniacal laugh, and saying, "I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to buy that, and you can't buy this," and that's why I feel like stick to what you're doing really good, because that's what I want to see as a fan.
I love the Warriors. They absolutely made no sense.
Hell, I like Warriors
crazy.
too. As out there as they were,
Yeah.
Warrior had
They were
good
great.
promos, but that was his thing. Is that you don't know what he's talking about.
You're like, what? But I love it. Like,
Yeah, I still like that one with Warrior and Macho Man, where he pops in. He's like, "No sleep, no food." It's just awesome. And you're like, "What?" And he's like, "No, nothing." And I'm like, "What are you doing with your voice?" Like,
No.
how much coke did you guys do before you started filming these things? Holy shit! But that's all of that, any of it back then, still way better than. And now I'm just gonna get on a wrestling side rant. So much better than what they got going on now. Like you don't need a room full of writers. Some of these guys can come up with their own shit, and they're good enough promos that they can do their own thing. Just let them do their own thing. You see promos. You see promos in New Japan. Now, like after matches, they'll come out and they just say whatever, and it just sounds genuine and real. Now it's just
whether good or bad. That is something I miss, because you're right. When you see it, you could tell it's like that's not this person's character. You could tell they were just reading what they had in back, trying to memorize it. And it feels so flat. There's no realness, like you said, to it. I mean, hell, even you talk about real stuff. God, I didn't know this. Like, I don't know why I was looking up stuff for Ric Flair on YouTube, and it brought up Greg the Hammer Valentine. And
I'll be right back, guys. I got to grab something real quick. Hang on, guys. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Yep. Greg Valentine he's never been what you want to call a favorite of mine. I don't know why, but I've never really liked
Greg Valentine. Who does, man?
Yeah, he always looked
old. He always looked like he was in his mid-50s.
That's what I mean. Like, he just looked so old.
30 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In his face, he had this kind of roundish face that looked like a cherub, or like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like those little cherub angel things. It's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, he looked funky. His wrestling felt so flat, and I always thought, why is this guy acting like he's Rick? I always thought, he's acting like he's Ric Flair. He's copying Ric Flair. Only to find out that then back in the day that they were together at one point, like in a tag team. But hold on a second, I'm hearing rattling.
Yeah, I'm starving here. I have to eat something, so I got a protein cookie I got to eat here.
Go ahead.
I'm feeling.
You eat your cookie. Eat your cookie.
See, I was onto something. I'm like, dude, you look like you're about to pass out.
So like I said, Greg Valentine, he never was a wrestler I really enjoyed. He always just looked blah to me. So when I was looking up the Ric Flair stuff, it started bringing up promos, and I was like, oh Jesus, I don't remember this promo. Maybe I was too young, or it was before me. But I was like, Greg Valentine is sitting there saying he's trying to be raw and real as he's doing it, but he was talking about the Junkyard Dog, and I was like, what are you saying on television? It was like getting real racist. I was like, did they allow that on TV? I was like, I don't know if this was a segment that wasn't put on TV, but I was like, this is uncomfortable. So it made me think, God, I guess this is the reason I didn't like this guy to begin with, but I didn't know if you guys ever seen this weird
I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here distracted because it's just I'm listening to you talk and then I just hear
No, but I don't know if either of you've seen that, but it was uncomfortable. If you've ever seen this Greg the Hammer Valentine racist promo with the Junkyard Dog. Wow.
Was that on purpose?
I don't know. I'm going to drink real quick while Tyler chews that. You talk. You're going to have one chew and then one's going to black out his screen. It's like, what's happening in the podcast?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't know. I felt like that last bite was on purpose.
I'm not even aware I'm making noise.
Yeah.
Oh
no, sorry. Yeah, it's like really loud. It's like, I mean, at least that mic is working correctly.
All right, I'll take the headphones out so it doesn't pick it up so much.
That might help a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yep, there we go. Well, damn, I don't really have anything around me that would make like a lot of crunchy noises.
I'm back. I'm done drinking. You don't see fights where I talk. Every time I fight, he talks, and they go. Sounds like it's magnified by a million.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the chat's like, yeah, this is stupid loud, so thanks for hurting everybody's ears.
God, I'm chewing. Like it's just, you should freeze it just on Tyler's camera while he's eating. It's like, no. God, how big is that fucking cookie?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Let's wait. Good, you go.
Yeah, all right. Well, are you done hurting everybody's ears, Tyler? Okay.
He might not hear you yet.
No, he can hear me. He gave me the thumbs up.
Oh, okay. I think he's still.
Yeah,
chewing.
he's still just chewing. Now he wants to be polite. He doesn't want to talk with his mouth full.
I would. Go to hell.
No, so I think we pretty much
No
talked
food.
Where do we go from here?
I think that's it. We pretty much covered the main.
Oh, no,
movies,
come on now.
Games to movies. We did almost all the games to movies. So,
No. There's got to be some other stuff. I know Tyler watched the Tekken. They made a live action Tekken movie.
I didn't finish watching it. It was
terrible.
terrible.
Well, how much of it did you watch?
30, 40 minutes of it.
Okay.
more me. 5 minutes.
What was bad about it? Was it just
The acting, the fighting was. Everyone looked the parts, but it was just a lame ass movie. It was just boring. You think how the hell do you screw up a Tekken movie? But
yeah, because the story is all
reason.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it just wasn't interesting. I mean, everybody looked the part. You had Raven, you had Heihachi, you had Jen, you had the girl that was trained by Eddie Gordo. I forgot what her name was. Real hot brunette. But you had oh god, Brian Fox or no, the boxer. Damn it.
The bomb.
Now Brian is the cyborg guy. But anyway, it was just such a forgettable movie. You didn't have any fun with it. It just I remember I paid like $25 for that on DVD.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And you're like, I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, so I got rid of it like at a pawn shop or just I didn't care. I didn't want any money for it. Here, just get it out of my collection.
All right. Well, Resident Evil films. I've seen the first one. Tyler saw the first one because we saw it in theaters together. Joe, have you watched any of those?
I've seen part 1. I think I've seen part 2, but I'll be honest, I don't know how many of them bastards they made. I think
too damn many.
Yeah, I think they're up. The last one was the
sixth
one, I think.
Sixth one.
Yeah.
Something that's different for me. It's almost like the Resident Evil series in general. It kind of transitioned from this kind of spooky game where you have this kind of like different perspective and angle and going through the doors and trying to figure out puzzles, to then now it's kind of like the third person. You can see the body and they're going around there shooting, and it's like that fear, not to be like the movie or the game show Fear Factor, but the fear factor was gone in the game to me. In the movies, just I don't know.
Well, the movie didn't have any damn zombies in it. You're just going into this umbrella corporation trying to get out, and then all of a sudden the zombie outbreak happens at the very end of the movie, and then
I was out of it. Yeah, and I watched part of the second one, and then I don't know, just kind of. I was done with them. I know that people liked them, but I didn't. I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into that Dead or Alive movie either. I like the Dead or Alive fighting game, but that movie.
Oh yeah, Kevin Nash is in that one, I think.
That was just everything was just just horrible acting. I mean, I'm not saying they have to have Oscar performances, but God, that whole movie was a mess. And I watched I watched 5 minutes of Tekken. I watched probably maybe 10 minutes of Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li or whatever. I was I love Kristen Crook as Lana in Smallville, but I was like, she can't even save this movie. I was like, this is another pile of crap. So unfortunately, the fighting movies have really suffered beyond Mortal Kombat. The first Mortal Kombat, it seems like almost all fighting movies just bombed. They really sucked. And it's like, you're right. Maybe it's just because they haven't really have a great established story. And like you said, Mortal Kombat.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's not like these things need established stories. Like, just adapt the game itself. They're all simple storylines. Like Street Fighter is, you're going from various parts of the country and taking on various fighters in various different ways. Like, that's a story. Having Ryu travel around, and it comes in contact or befriends some of these fighters, and ultimately will run into Sagat.
It was
And
turned into a
Bison-
great cartoon. Like the cartoon did a
Well,
great
yeah,
job.
yeah,
but
the
they just didn't
cartoon
do it
movie
for
was
a
good,
movie.
and that was a lot of fun too. I mean,
Yeah.
and I felt like they maintained the Street Fighter aspect, but threw in a bit of a, an extra storyline of M Bison hunting down various fighters and wanting to, take, use harness like their strengths and their apparent powers and make it his own, working for Shadowloo and stuff like that. With Balrog, Sagat, and I mean that sequence with Vega and Chun Li and her best scene in the movie. So, and that was a great adaptation. I mean, they did a cartoon series of both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. I watched those on USA as a kid.
What about the live action Mortal Kombat TV show that would follow WCW Monday Nitro on TNT?
I think I came across that once or twice on a Monday night, and I hated every minute of what I saw. I'm like, this sucks, man. So I barely watched that. And I touched on the online series that came out, Mortal Kombat Legacy. Very little.
That was okay.
Yeah, I was kind of intrigued, but I've never finished it.
Yeah, there were some parts that were kind of turned me off, but some parts
Mm-hmm.
were pretty good. I don't remember a lot of it, but I think the less said about the Uwe Boll movies, the better, because he did a lot of video game adaptations. We're talking like House of the Dead, Far Cry, Blood Rain, Postal. I've only seen bits and pieces of House of the Dead, and it just looks so. It's like
It wasn't good. I loved the video game House of the Dead, but transitioned into a.
Did you watch some of it as well?
Oh yeah, I did watch some.
It just seemed like the editing in that was just so like over here, like just really quick. Like none of it made sense for a little bit.
It was quite confusing. Like I don't know how to pronounce her actual last name for Erica Durance or Erica Durance. I don't know, but she was the one that played Lois Lane in Smallville. I think the main reason I seen that was just to see her topless because she was topless. I think in House of the Dead or something. But otherwise, I didn't care about the damn movie.
I love to see what Joe would be like in a strip club. Yeah, because Joe loves him some boobs, and it would just be fun to sit back and pay like a couple of big breasted strippers to just see if Joe like takes the mask off or he keeps the mask on.
I think he should keep the mask on.
And then just kind of like keels over right there in the seat, and he just is like people think he's drunk or passed out in the club because he's just some guy sitting there with no mask on. He's just overexhausted from breast exploitation.
Yeah, that was I'm just being honest. You guys are one of my opinion. That's why I watched the movie. I seen that, and I don't remember a damn thing about the movie. That's
fair.
So, it's fair.
Did you anyone seen Silent Hill? I watched that. It's kind of faithful to the game and everything. I got kind of bored with it towards the end. It sort of suffered a little bit from how Resident Evil. Like it kind of dragged, and by the time anything really, really picked up, it was towards the end, and you're like, well, what's the point?
No, I never did see that. And in the chat room, they were bringing up a couple.
What?
I don't know. There was a couple movies. What the hell happened to Tyler?
It's like Batman '89. He's just gonna fall over and
he's like, could he have some drugs in it?
Yeah.
Must
have been something in that cookie, man.
Hardly appropriate to be laughing.
Must have been something else in that protein cookie.
You don't know what's going on. Yeah, exactly.
No, well, the way that's like, what's the point? And then I'm thinking about Nathan going, no food. Like I'm just replaying that.
In the chat room, they brought up Pixels and Ready Player One. The reason I haven't mentioned either of those movies is, well, like I said, they're not actually based off of a video game, but I do understand what you mean. They have references of video games and stuff, and Pixels was different because it was like, well, the aliens are watching us.
I was automatically out because it's an Adam Sandler
movie. Yep.
Like I said, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was okay. But as for Ready Player One, I really loved Ready Player One, and I think that just came out maybe on Blu-ray or DVD.
It comes out this coming Tuesday.
I like that. Yeah.
I think it comes out on Redbox as well. So next weekend, I'll definitely be.
I like it a lot. I just didn't bring it up because it wasn't, from a game to a movie. But no, if you're just talking about, I guess, a video game movie, yes, Ready Player One was freaking awesome. I love that. I think they did a great job. And plus, I want to see it again, see if I can catch more Easter eggs beyond He-Man and Spawn and all the other stuff that was in there. You're always wanting to look in the background, but it was pretty good. It was different. It was a different movie.
I mean, I look forward to watching it. It would be nice that if I would like it because it's Spielberg kind of. I've noticed a lot of people saying it's sort of Spielberg sort of returning to form in his old ways.
Instead of making it Oscar bullshit.
Yeah. Or trying to make Indiana Jones good again.
Oh, don't talk about Kingdom. Let's never speak of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Don't ever, never.
The best part was I think I've mentioned this on the show before. Tyler was going to go see it that weekend. I was going to go see it with him, but I went with my girlfriend at the time out of town, so he was on his own. I'm like, I think this was before we really had phones that we could text on, and I was like, just email me and let me know what you thought. And I just get this email, it just all caps. Probably about a paragraph long and just said bullshit.
It was bad.
Yeah.
What a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was something me and Tyler never wanted to bring up on Fans Power, and somehow through one of the people in the chat room, it came up. But that same thing. Let's make sure we never discuss that movie ever. That is.
Yeah, that'll be something. I know. I definitely look forward to discussing like Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. Because those are my two of the trilogy. Like, I love those more than Raiders. Like, I don't care how blasphemous that is. I like Raiders, but I like Temple of Doom and Last Crusade more than Raiders. But
we'll never do that. That Skulls one.
No. It's always been this way. It's a trilogy. Like, I have put that film out of my mind. It's so far removed that even when I talk about the Indiana Jones trilogy, I'll say trilogy. And I do not acknowledge its existence, just like with Star Wars. Like, to me, Star Wars is A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. I'll throw in Rogue One. And I wish I could say Force Awakens, but since that's been, this pooch has been screwed on that one, I can't count that because they've already, they've blown their wad in the worst possible humiliating way in that piece of shit, Last Jedi. So.
Hey, real quick, Eric Amen in the chat room did want to know, he said, dude, how much sugar is in that protein cookie?
I'm not that hyped up. There is just no more than usual.
There, this had to do that. So, all right. There. Well, now you found that out, Eric. But how about did you want to wrap that up, Nathan? Because we hit every
12 grams of sugar in this cookie here.
12 grams, that's it, huh? And laced with a little crack or cocaine. It's got something else in there that's just hitting you to the wire. That's one hell of a big.
I've been so low key since I had the cookie though. I don't.
You just been over there laughing to yourself.
Laughing because of Nathan cutting his promo. No food. I just thought it was funny. It just was like out of left field, and then Nathan's like, "What's the point?" I was like, he put off a good one. I just thought
it's laced. I think that cookie got laced with some shit.
It's laced. What?
It laced with cookies. It's laced with some damn.
Oh, it's late. I'm like, dude, it's like 3:15 in the afternoon.
My God. They're have to wrap it up.
It's getting late over there.
Well, all right. I'll leave us with this. Do any of you have a video game that you would like to see turned into a movie? Because to me, going back to
Final Fight.
Oh, they'll fuck that up too.
Yeah,
of course they probably. But
I'm surprised they probably should have done that back then, like back in the 90s. They should have.
It would have been the perfect time to capitalize on it. It would have definitely.
But
especially during the popularity and the height of when it was super hot with all the fighting games. But well, as we just said, they pretty much bombed with most of them, Mortal Kombat being the exception. But for whatever reason, they sure bombed the hell out of the other ones. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a game that I'd like it turned into a movie. I really can't think of nothing. I mean, because I'd like to say, okay, they did a fantastic job with the Netflix series Castlevania. Could they transition that into a great movie? Would I like to say yes? But I don't know what the hell they do with it if they messed up that bad.
That's the thing now. It's like I don't think anything needs to be live action. Games are so advanced now that they are their own movie. Essentially, some of these games are just interactive movies.
For example, I mean, you bring up Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy VII, especially Part 7 with Cloud and Sephiroth and all that.
Where they did Advent Children.
And they did Advent Children. That was awesome, especially when you finally seen when Sephiroth, appeared again. Because it was, like the merging, between K-Dodge or however and Genova's box. And when it fused together, it then transformed and released Sephiroth. I was like, that was a cool-ass moment when then Cloud seeing that happen. That was a badass moment. So I guess, those kind of games transitioned great into I guess, CG movies. But yeah,
I think
where
that's the
Yeah.
path you need to go with them now. Like if they were like, okay, we're making a Mario movie and it's, DreamWorks or whoever's doing the animation for it, I'd be totally down for it because that's the way it needs to be done.
Some don't work into real life. Just some don't work for real life people. But I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler, any final thoughts?
I mean, I still think it'd be cool to see a Double Dragon movie done right with Billy and Jimmy Lee, going through the streets of some made up city and having bloody fist fights and stuff like that, and using bats and knives and chains and just beat the hell out of their enemies and duking it out to save a hot chick. I mean, that's what Final Fight is too. I mean, I just, and they're the simplest stuff. Like, don't try and come up with some sort of, like, well, in this alternate universe here, Guy and Cody and Hagar, they stepped through the portal here, and the magic game running the world, and, or some bullshit like that. It's like, no, stop. But it would look cool. But yes, like with anything else we hold dear, some jerk off decides to come along with the man bun tail. So I think it has like it attributes itself to a lot of comedy in these movies here. I just want to like, oh, they're so quirky and zany here.
Who that will says Night Trap. Night Trap would be an excellent little film adaptation.
Now, Joe would be like, "Oh my God, guys, you got to see it. It's the best movie I've ever seen."
I'll tell you what. Well, that's the thing. I remember when Night Trap came out because it was an interactive movie basically that you played, and you had to hit the scenes and make sure that the augers that you had to stop them from getting the girls.
That game is really, really hard.
It is. You know what? This is the thing. It's weird you bring up Night Trap out of all things because you know how I love playing my games and how I was good at them. Well, I remember beating Night Trap. It's like, great game.
So modest.
No, it is. No. I don't mean that as being arrogant. I just meant I had a good knack playing the games and beating them. And you're like, sure, you arrogant fucker. But I remember being at Radio Shack. And Radio Shack would sometimes sell video game accessories and peripherals and stuff. And I was getting some. Yeah, they did. They actually had like some of the little adapters and things. If some shit went bad back of your TV, you get some of those, those tuners, those things that you screw on the back of your TV, whatever the fuck that thing's called, RF unit. I think they had some RF units. Well, I was there, and however came up the conversation with one of the people that worked there, and I started talking about Night Trap. He was like, oh, so he said, use the cheap magazine that they had in one of the video game magazines, huh? I was like, for what? He was like, well, to beat Night Trap. I was like, no, I beat that without that. He was like, dude, he was like, don't get me wrong, but you couldn't have beat that game without it. There's no way you could have beat that game without it. I was like, but I did. And he's like, yeah, right. And it just pissed me off that somebody was calling me a liar. And I was like, I beat this fucking game without this.
You just pull him over the counter. It's like, look here, asshole, I beat the game. Here's my high score. You drag him over to your house and you point at the TV screen. Look at this, I beat it.
No, but really, it was not the hardest game. There's plenty of games that are a lot harder.
I don't know. I thought because I'm sitting there playing because they re-released it on all the platforms, PS4, Xbox. I think a physical version came out on Switch. Yeah, and I was playing it, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing everything right. And then they pop up and they're like, no, you're wrong. You fucked up. Game over. I'm like,
check the right cameras. Yeah, the cameras at the right time. You had to check them. It was a game of like, I guess you had to be dedicated with it. Especially back then, if you're spending $50 on a game, you're putting all your heart and your effort into playing that game. It's not like nowadays you can have just 20 games. Oh, I don't like this one. I'll go to the next one. I'll go to the next one. So you're gonna put all your effort into playing that sumbitch.
There was something in that cookie. I'm telling you. Because you're sitting there talking. Tyler just does this. He's like.
Yeah, there's a movie missing from. There's a movie missing from my DVD show. I think my dad took it without telling me, so that's why I was like, "What's missing over there?" And then I thought, then Nathan was going, like, ha ha ha,
It shows his attention
and then Joe's just like, "Yeah, I beat it."
It shows the attention span. Like I'll start talking like the second he hears video games, Tyler's mind shuts down.
And he focuses seeing Cloud Nines and all this stuff. I'm like,
Cloud Nines.
I don't know what the hell.
Cloud Nine is the store in the NBC show Superstore on Hulu, which we've been binge watching in there, and that's been pretty funny.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about too.
You wouldn't like it because it's a comedy.
I think you're gonna have to wrap it up. We're everywhere right now. So go ahead, Nathan. You tell everybody what to do, where to go, and how to do that stuff.
Well, first of all, special love to Assassin's Creed movie and Hitman. We didn't get around to talking about those because I haven't seen any of those. I'm assuming no one else here has either.
No.
Have not.
I wanted to watch Assassin's Creed. Maybe I'll get to it someday. That kind of seems like they were trying to bring it back, where it's like, here's a video game property, here's some big names attached to it, here's a big budget, and I think it just sort of fell because no one had much interest in checking it out. But thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. We had quite a few people in here this time around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified. Click the links down below. Give that Facebook page a like. Go back and download the audio versions of all of our episodes so Tyler can hurt your ears with his packaging and his eating. He's making a bunch of weird faces.
No, because stuff is popping up like on my phone. I'm like,
what is this? Get out of here. What?
Yeah.
If you want to check us out on iTunes, we're under Pop Culture Network, so make sure you search for that, and all of our shows, Fans of Power, Beyond Retro, Capes and Commentaries, should all be under that umbrella.
Oh, I want you to let everybody know that tonight we're going to be recording under a different platform for Fans of Power, just for tonight.
Yes. For some of you that joined it the last time around, Fans of Power will be on a different channel. Instead of Doug Turner's channel, it will be on the little dedicated Fans of Power podcast channel on YouTube.
Can you pop a link for them here just in case too?
Yeah, I'll put a link down below there, and then I'll give you guys that link so you can go ahead and get that promoted too. But make sure to give that one a subscribe as well. That way you get notified when it does switch over. You won't miss out.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. This was fun. It's always fun.
Good. Yeah.
They seem to enjoy it in the chat room, so that was pretty cool.
I definitely like to go back and do like a more thorough discussion, like on Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, the Street Fighter movie. Permitting we get Joe to watch it, because he doesn't watch it. I guess me and Nathan will have to do like a solo episode or something like that, because we send it to Joe because Joe doesn't accept gifts.
Correct.
Or not even rentals. Joe doesn't even accept rentals.
Of course, then some people send things and you don't want it and you appreciate it. And Eric Amon, I'll be showing something tonight because Eric Amon, he did. You're like, oh, I see how it is. You accept from other people, but now
no. I'm aware of what he sent you.
Oh, you are? Okay, yeah, because he said he was wanting to send. I was like, man, you don't have to do that. I was like, no. And I was like, man, I said, please. I was like, this better not be a lot of money.
I knew you were going to do that to him. Like he tells me, he's like, wants to do something nice, and Joe's going to be like, you take that gift, turn it sideways, and shove it up your ass.
No, but I did.
No, it's shove it up his candy ass. Get it right.
But I was like, no. I was like,
poo candy ass. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I told him, I said, better not be expensive. No, it's not. I forgot how he phrased it, but I was like, what? Well, anything that I said is a lot.
So basically, you're saying Eric Amon's really rich, and what he spent on it may have been a lot of money to the rest of us, but for him, it was nothing.
Yeah, because I sent him one of those gifs, whatever you call it, GIF. I don't know how you pronounce it, but of Scrooge McDuck jumping in the gold, because basically that's how I think. It's like, you're swimming in money, man. But I'll show what he got tonight, and I do appreciate Eric. It's really cool.
Meanwhile, I've been doing the show with Joe for almost a year now, and I'm like, hey, man, can I just send you Halloween Producer's Code on Blu-ray? It's like $8 on Amazon. Oh, no, man, you can't do that. Oh. What the fuck, man?
I know, that's balanced.
So yeah, it doesn't make sense. Well, I don't know. So yeah, so I don't usually like things, but no, I appreciate that, Eric. And yeah, sorry about that, Nathan. Yeah.
No, you're good, man. I want to say too that next week the schedule is going to be a little different, because Tyler and I are going to be attending a convention next Sunday, because all the Saturday tickets were sold out because I waited too long, like an asshole. But we're going to be going there on Sunday. So, Joe, if you're down for it, hopefully we can do retro on Saturday.
Yeah, we could try retro on Saturday. That should be fine since you guys got things you're doing.
He's completely,
He's taping his fists.
Yeah, there's no malice behind that.
Rich ass motherfuckers doing all this goddamn shit, and I'm sitting there eating fucking peanuts. All right, yeah. So hey guys, thanks for joining us. I love every one of you. Everybody.
Yeah, God forbid we tried to do something nice for the guy who was like, no. I'd rather be upset and mad about this and mad about that. And I don't have anything.
Well, here's what I'm hoping too, because also scheduling for we're going to be popping out a few more shows over the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to be on vacation, which means that my afternoons will be free when these guys are kind of free. So we'll hopefully do some more episodes of retro during the week. So that's why you need to hit that bell so you know when we're going live.
That's right. Get them notifications all the time. In case, like he said, we're on different times. Same thing with the Fans of Power podcast. By going to the other channel and subscribing, then you might get notified on that. So, because I know there's going to be a lot of people tonight wondering, well, what the hell just happened? I'm not seeing you guys. So, even if, when Tyler and I promote everywhere on Facebook, still doesn't matter. There's a lot of people that don't see that through Facebook. They have it through the notification. So, it's always good to ring the bell. That's why he always says ring the bell so you can get that notification.
Yep.
It's not just a ramble he's doing. It's it helps. It helps.
No, it's the script that Joe has written for me that I have sitting in front every week, so I don't mess it up. But yeah, if you're a fan of the show, there's going to be an influx of capes and commentaries and Beyond Retro in the next 2-3 weeks. That'll be fun.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'm off to drink and eat, and
I'm off to drink and watch Rampage, and Tyler's gonna go work out and eat some more of his cookies and get his strength back.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. See you guys next week.
All right.